George. I'm going to spend just the next few minutes talking a little more about the National Coalition to Protect Civil Freedoms and actions that we can do as a community. And here when I mean a community, I don't mean just the Muslim community, but I mean the community of people who are conscious of the importance of working in the civil rights and civil freedoms arena here in the United States. And I don't want to go into a long analysis of how I feel the country is going, but any educated person or any person who is attuned to what's happening to our country right now in the year 2011, we feel that maybe it's going in the wrong direction. And part of that is seeing the rollback of civil rights, and the economy, for example, makes a person think maybe something is not right here. You know, here we are, a great country of over 350 million people. What is it that is wrong? And part of it, obviously, is that if we don't respect the very law that we embedded in our history as Americans, and that includes the Muslim community, because as a Muslim community, even if it's an immigrant community, you come to this country with the understanding that you will contribute, live in the society, abide by the laws of the society, and so forth. But if there is a problem with the application of those laws, then those who are conscious of it need to speak out, need to organize, and need to work to change it. And we do it locally. First, we start locally, and that's one of the reasons that we come to these. We come to the communities throughout the United States, because every community has an experience like Tariq Muhanna and Dr. Sami Larian and Arif Yassin and Shifa and so forth. Every community has those cases, and the first line of defense is the local community itself. And sometimes the local community is scared to participate because they see the national scene, the media, and the way that the government is coming down on individuals, and they become frightened. And this is something that we want to let people know, that there is power in numbers. There is power in numbers. And if you're organized as a community, you fight for your civil rights, because it's not given to you on a silver platter. You have to fight for it, and this is how you do it, by education. So you start locally, and that's what we would like to do. When we educate people here, yes, maybe we're preaching to the crowd in the sense that you have the sense to come here because either you're affected or you know someone who has been affected by the rollback of civil rights, by the violation of civil rights, but you feel it's important, or you know of others, but you feel it's important to come here and to learn, and hopefully you can take what you learn, and hopefully people will take something back to their families and their community in order to organize. And supporting the trials as they come. Remember, you go to a trial to ensure that a person receives a fair trial, because all criminal trials are supposed to be public, and it allows anyone to go into the courtroom and witness the judicial system at work. And you need to do that for yourself and for organizing the community. So at the National Coalition to Protect Civil Freedoms, for example, we look at our three initiatives: the preemptive prosecution, preventing preemptive prosecutions, and the situation of prisoners and their families, the harsh conditions that prisoners are being held under. And the third one is the profiling. We look at these three initiatives in a multifaceted manner. As we mentioned, for example, we have our legislative arm, which deals with these issues on a legislative platform. So if there are laws that are in place right now that enable preemptive prosecutions, well, we want to develop bills that will be a counter to that, so that we can get some of those laws repealed, or at the very least, change the way that they're being implemented when there are problems. And we've already begun doing that based on a 2008 Inspector General report from the Department of Justice stating that in these national security cases, these quote-unquote terrorism cases, that there may have been instances where the prosecutors withheld evidence that was exculpatory to the defendants, meaning that because the prosecutors have all the information and they pick and choose what they want to use in order to prosecute someone. Well, there may be evidence in their possession that they don't feel is important to divulge, but if it was divulged, it would lead to the innocence or tend to prove someone is innocent or indicate that someone is innocent. And they're actually required to give up that information. But they hold it tight, and there have been instances where that's done on purpose. But even if you want to assume that it's not, we need to find a mechanism in order for those cases to be reviewed based on the fact that this would have happened, that there would be criminal trials where evidence is actually exculpatory, meaning tends to lead to someone's innocence, is held back. So that's an example. We're also, for all of our initiatives, we deal with education, and that's what we're doing here, is to come to the local communities in order to let the local communities know about what we do as a coalition, what our initiatives are, and how we go about doing it, and also to empower the community to work locally to help those cases that are local to them. And we can't afford financially, for example, to raise money for the prisoners' families, because if we were doing that, we wouldn't be able to conduct our activities. So we go to the community, we say, this community, here as an example, Boston needs to take care of Tariq Muhanna's family needs. Someone from the community who is responsible, who is a leader, needs to sit down and say, what are your needs? And they need to work to help with those needs. And we can, of course, be there as an advisor based on our vast experience from the many volunteers that we have in our organization who have come across these things and can provide valuable information to those who are going through these types of cases. So we educate the local community to be empowered to help those who face preemptive prosecution, as an example. Also, we work with the media, and those who are interested in the media, please talk to us, because we like to work with the local media to generate positive stories on these types of cases, because there's a lot of information out there. Most of it is negative. We need to be proactive in terms of providing positive stories and positive takes on these stories that media look from different perspectives, and we can help to humanize it. We can help to bring additional information that is usually missed in these types of cases. So through the coalition, those who are interested in education, we have these kinds of events that we host. You can participate in those. In terms of media, we welcome those who are interested in generating positive media for our cases, and those who are interested in the legislative aspect, we welcome that, because we want to co-sponsor these bills. That means we need Republicans and Democrats, and anyone who has connections or ties with their elected officials can help to push some of the legislation that we've already begun to introduce into Congress as part of our 501c4 project, as I said before. So in action, one of the speakers, I think, said that, the Muslim community is going to be the leading community on the issue of civil rights, or to that effect. And I agree with the speaker, because for those who call them cousins, our cousins, the Jews, went through this before, and we can learn from that. They are some of the staunchest supporters of civil freedoms in the United States. Why? Because they went through it before, and they realized that even if I don't agree if someone is gay or lesbian, but their rights are being trampled on, and the same apparatus that can trample on the rights of a gay or lesbian individual can also trample on the rights of a Muslim or a Jew or a peace activist and so forth. And so it's that collective understanding that everyone is going to be a target in the future. Therefore, we organize, and we learn from that. And our Muslim community has to engage other communities to build coalitions so that we can promote these issues in a way that mainstream America can appreciate. And so we need to engage. So I encourage that, and I also encourage those who are who are not of the Muslim community to engage those from the Muslim community, because it was heartening to many Muslim communities to see people from other faith communities come to their support to protect their mosques after 9/11, and to come to say, what can we do in these cases where we feel that you are being targeted just because of you being a Muslim. So I encourage that as well. At this point, what I would like to do is we'll do a 5-minute break. It'll allow you at least to begin to look at that. You can also get some of our literature. We do have pledge forms for those who want to donate. We also have a box for those who have petty cash and want to donate that way. We also have a sign-up sheet for our newsletter, which is weekly. And I encourage everyone to go to our website, which is civilfreedoms.org. If you look at that website, we take all of the most important articles and media that is being generated regarding our 3 initiatives, which are preemptive prosecution, profiling, and prisoners' conditions, and look at our website, because those are important to identifying and documenting what's happening in the United States and how it may be affecting Muslims now, but it's going to affect others later. So I encourage people to sign up to our newsletter as well. And so if we can break for 5 minutes, we'll be back in 5 minutes. So please don't,
I have a question.
Don't go away. Yes?
I have a question. Do you think the NCPCF would be open to like bringing some kind of public forum because of exculpatory evidence? If the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office is withholding exculpatory evidence and they're fabricating evidence and they're doing illegal acts like that, can it be exposed to having a public forum?
That's exactly what we're working on right now through the proposed legislation. We have a bill that is being introduced to Congressman Conyers of Michigan, and we're looking now for a Republican counterpart to co-sponsor the bill. And basically, it's just to call upon the Department of Justice to implement the recommendations of the Inspector General, who documented the fact that there have been violations of these national security cases where evidence has been withheld. So we're working on that. We welcome anyone who's interested in that to speak to me, and I will entertain any of your suggestions and your willingness to work with us on that level. In terms of locally, we want to try to get you to talk to your congressman and your senators here so that we can push it from here as well. I hope that answers the question.